viewers, you are welcome to another edition of today's podcast. Today's podcast promises to be entertaining, educative, and you are going to be learning a lot of things here. So we want to do something different in today's program. But before that, let me introduce my guest. That's in person of Mr. Okoyemi, very knowledgeable in fintech, in finance, in economy generally. So, Mr. Okoyemi, introduce yourself to viewer.
Thank you once again, Mr. Alex, for having me here on this edition of podcast. My name is Okwemi Ulutayo, and we're just going to be having fun today together on the show.
Okay, yes. So that's the word. We're going to be having fun together. So I just want you guys to pick your pen, pick your books, and just jot something down today. So because some of the things we want to do today, there are questions that you have been training out on our social media handles, and which we are likely to answer some of them today. So this how it's going to go today. I'm going to be asking you questions, so and you'll be answering. So, but before that, now last week we talked about Hazra. So and some of you were asking about Hasra, and don't forget we brought somebody that's in person of Dr. Ferrami to the program. So, and he was saying something on Hasra. So, and I want to ask you a question. I forgot to ask that question. And I said, but since you're here, I think I can ask you. So, now, what is the latest update about Hasra before we move on?
To start with, I also, was privileged to also see the show, and it was such a fantastic time that Doctor was taking us through the new product at Gold Premium. To answer your question directly, the latest about Hasdra now is that you can even just get your dollar account in 10 seconds.
Wow.
That's just the truth. In 10 seconds, because you are dealing with an AI model that we just created. What you need to do is chat with Azra. Azra. Azra ask you what is going to do for you. Just prompt Azra to say, I need a US dollar account. Azra ask you again, give me your details. Now that depends on how fast you are about giving Azra your details. But in 10 seconds, Azra is done with creating your US dollar account and you are good to go.
Wow, that's like in 10 seconds. That is big. Like on WhatsApp. You guys should go just key into this feature. So let's go through the point. So I have some few questions here so that we like to be asking you, and people want to hear the answer. So number one question says that so let's say your salary enters your account. What do you do first?
Um, Based on what finance industry structure is, you should save part of your salary. It's
Hmm.
not that when your salary enters, most of the time people just tend to just, oh, I have a budget I'm working with. Fine, a budget is good, but part of your budget should include saving. You understand? And this is why we just admonish people, who are just starting out life, especially who are trying to figure out their finance. Part of your budget for the month is for you to save,
Hmm.
especially for emergencies. That's just my take on that.
So save for expenses, save for what emergencies. Okay, no problem. So let's go to number two question. So your friend tells you about about double your money in 1 week investment. You understand? I think that's a common investment in Nigeria context. So what's your take about that?
Oh well, that's a bit dicey. Double your investment in one
In
week.
1 week, yes. So some
I
people
just
even say triple your
no,
investment.
no, 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 no. Finance doesn't work like that. In the world of finance, I want us to quite understand that there is nothing you want to do. There's no assurance you want to give me as a person that you're asking me to double my finance in 1 week.
Mm,
You're asking me to rush into. It's like a Ponzi scheme.
mm,
Finance takes time to grow. Do you understand? Is a strategy. So uh, the right answer to that is, see, process information, do your research.
mm.
Do you understand? You don't just, you're asking me as Mr. Alex, guy, I have this particular this thing I want you to look at. It will double your, no. The first thing I should do is process that information, then do my research.
Mm.
Do my research.
Okay, okay, that I love that. But I want to ask a question. Most people don't really take time, or they are not patient enough to actually process what the person, the word double. is really what comes to their head, and they just want to, go into risk without considering the risk there.
Well, is an offer. Do you understand? And that's like a bait. You are asking me, you are offering me what the reward will be in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, which is to double my finance. But for me, the next line of action is not to look at the end point, is for me to do my due diligence, to research about it, maybe stock, maybe there's a particular real estate and all of what have you. You want to check the facts. Do you understand? You don't just rush into. So the financial IQ to follow is to do your research. That's just it.
Hmm. So can we say research is part of principle in finance?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I think you guys are taking note of all these points. They are very
Ev-
important and germane.
Most importantly, when it comes to investment, the first thing is do your research.
Wow. Okay, so let's move to the next question. So the next question says, the naira suddenly loses value. So what should you do?
Okay, I think now we are talking about naira, which is our local currency. If the naira loses its value, one of the ways you can outbid that is for you to look for another strategy, which I'll say to save in higher currency. To
Hmm.
save in higher currency. So what you want to do is when naira loses its value, what you want to do is make sure that you now save that money, maybe in dollars, maybe in pounds, maybe in euros, so that number one, you will preserve the current value of your money.
Of the money, yeah.
Take for instance, you have 10,000 naira and naira is losing its value. Instead of just saving it, putting it in your bank account, and it keeps on depreciating and
Depreciating.
all of that, because when it depreciates, one of the things you find out is that you will not be able to bargain, like you are losing purchasing power.
Purchasing power, yeah.
Purchasing power, that's the right word. So what you want to do is just to save in dollar, and one of the platform to actually save in dollar right now is use the go free app,
Go premium.
and also use the go premium. Anyone that works with you, the go free is there, the go premium is there, and you are just going to beat inflation, and at the end of the day, if the market picks up, you are even going to be even gaining more. You save
Hmm.
10,000 naira in dollars. Let's say now a dollar now goes to maybe 1 3.
1,003,
Yeah,
yes,
you are
yes.
going to also uh, get the benefit of that. So the right answer to that would be to save in dollar.
Okay, before we move away from that question, so now how many do you think is right to take action? The one that you just explained now, do you think is right to take action when Nigeria loses value, or someone should have a kind of precaution, like you should foresee? You understand? I mean, foresee by saying, okay, I should have a dollar account in case this happened to Naira. You understand? So
Yeah.
that in that way you can diversify your money instead of waiting for Naira to fall.
I understand the loyalty to your country and all of that, but when it comes to individual growth, I don't believe you should not be multifaceted. By that I mean you shouldn't even wait until your currency loses
Currency.
its value before you have a dollar account, before you. And this is why we said last week, when doctor was here, that see, Astra is there to help you create that dollar account.
10 seconds.
In 10 seconds you are done. Do you understand? Is There's no hassle of queue to say I'm going to bank to go and open an account and all of that. No, we are no longer in that era. From the comfort of your home, number one, from the comfort of your device that you are
Mm,
holding, chat
created.
Asdra, which is by you going to use
Dot
asdra.com.
com.
Do you understand?
Mm.
And it's just going to create it for you, so that if and when the naira is not doing well, you will be able to, you receive
Step.
a salary.
Mm.
Remember, one of your question is if your salary enters,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
should you
What
do?
should
And I said you should
say?
save.
Yeah.
Now when your salary enters, part of your saving, not just saving naira, saving dollar,
$7.
so that if it falls, if it's stable, then
Mm.
dollar is always performing better than, at least for
Mm.
now. We
For
are all
now.
praying that naira will one day pick up and we'll be able to, be at that level. But now that is not
Yeah.
there, you should look for another alternative, which is to save in dollar.
So we can say invariably that is diversification
Yes,
of currency.
diversification of
Okay,
currency.
so let's move to the next question. So, um, okay, okay. So you receive unexpected money. So what should you do? Spend it, lavish it, or something?
Well, I want to believe that when I'm making my plans, due to the law of value, is if you truly offer value to people, there will be moments in your life that some amount will enter your
Just
account that
enter.
you didn't plan for. Is not part of your, oh, I did this service for this person. It's just people blessing you due to the fact
Your
that you are
value,
valuable.
yes.
Yeah. So, having said that, one of the things to do is to make sure that that money doesn't just vanish in your hand. There are also unexpected funds that I know what I'm going to use it for. It's just for me to invest in another thing, in real estate, or to even save it uh in Go Chest, like I've been
Okay.
mentioning, or to save it on Go Premium in JAR, you understand? Just lock it. Okay, 500K enters. Oh, 50,000 naira enters. And I don't have an idea for now to work with this money. Just go and lock it.
Mm.
Lock it for 6 months, lock it for 1 year, so that when you now have a processed thought or what you want to use your money for, number one, you remember when I said saving dollar, at the time that you are needing it, it's not making sense. Oh,
Mm.
my 50,000 naira is now maybe 80,000 naira due to the exchange rate as at of that time that you need it. Do you
Mm.
understand?
Yes.
So when you receive an unexpected money and you don't know what to do with it, just go and lock it.
Just go and lock it. That's the word. Just go and lock it. So means that you need to create USD account, Hero account for you to be able to lock your money in foreign currency. So, and you can do that on Go Premium. So moving on, the next question is that the new phone comes out, but your current phone works well. So do you think about buying another one or something?
I think this question is very
Maybe
specific.
iPhone 20
Or iPhone, iPhone Pro Max 17 or
or
something.
something.
There's what we call delay gratification,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I think most of Nigerians have not done well, to curb themselves in, we call it unnecessary spending, impulse spend,
Impulse. Yes,
yes,
impulse.
impulse
Spend.
spending.
Yeah.
You just want to feel belong, like the
Mm.
new phone is out, and it's not as if you are using it for, in quote, something big. We understand that some people, they use it for work and all of that, but some of us, we use it for status. But the right question would be, why are you doing that? So there's what practice delay gratification. You cannot just be opening your purse all the time. If not, you look around and you discover that you are broke at the end of the day.
Mm.
What if the phone is stolen? What if the new purchase is damaged? What will happen?
What will
Do you
happen?
understand? So find comfort in not jumping on new trends. Okay, this device is out. The device will always be out. Do you understand?
Mm.
And one of the targets is to make sure that people who love to do impulse spending, they are targeted. So the ad is crafted in such a way that it appeals to you, that once I own this, there's a
Mm.
feeling about it. So the right answer would be that to practice, delay gratification. Make sure that you are not just jumping on new trends when things come
Mm.
out.
I think this the yeah. Thank you so much. We love that. So I think this particular question also is about you being able to segregate between need and want. Do you
Yes, yes,
understand?
you are very correct. Yes.
Yes.
Knowing your need, knowing your
No, you
wants.
want.
Yeah, you
Okay.
are very correct.
So I'm learning enough, as in I've learned enough from Mr. Okoyemi today. So we are still going to move on. We still have about three questions more before we wrap it up on today's podcast. But I just want to take a break to tell you guys that you can drop your questions, on our comment section. So we received some questions. If time permits, we will answer some of the questions. I think there's one particular question that is on my mind. I wish I don't forget. So just drop your any question or your comments on our comment section. So let's move on. So your income increases. So you're working, your income increases. What should
Okay.
you do?
Uh, there are different ways to approach this based on different context and different circumstances of people, But if all is well with you, if all is well with you, you don't have need for house rent, you don't have need for relocating, you don't have need, your life is okay, stable. If your income increases, it doesn't mean that your expenses should increase.
Increase, yes.
Like I said, if all is
Is
well.
well, yes.
That's why I put it in that context so that you are not misinformed at the end of the day. There are some people that when their salary increases, they just want to settle their immediate need, which is valid. You don't have a good gadget to work to be more productive, go for it. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the right space or the right method to answer that is know your circumstance, know yourself. If my
Mm.
income increase, then it means one of the things that should be fundamental to you is that I should delay gratification, like I mentioned.
Mm.
That my income increase does not mean I should just go and rush and buy a car. I should not rush and buy, this and that. And make sure that you look at yourself and you can value yourself. Okay, what is the next move for me? Since my value. So, but some of us we need to pour into the things that we do that will make for more production or productivity. Do you understand? The company is giving you increased salary so that you can be more productive. Do you understand? But most importantly, settle your future as well. Invest into the future by investing, into different portfolio. Save, look good, go for more knowledge to,
Just
also
invest in yourself.
match the level of your salary and all of that. So those are the things to look at.
And I think in addition to what you just mentioned, I think I saw some of one of your content, one of your video on TikTok where you mentioned that when your income increases, you should also increase your savings. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I saw it.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I think that should be about last 2 weeks. I dropped one of the content on TikTok. If anybody wants to check Opeyemi Olutayo for you on TikTok and on Instagram, you can find my content there. Now, in that conversation, I began to mention that if your savings or if your
Income
salary
increases.
increases or income generally increases, one of the things to do is to start saving intentionally. And I mentioned figures around, from 10% of your salary to 30% of your salary
Mm-hmm.
should go to savings. I deliberately said that so that once you know that 30% of my salary or of my income is
Is
for
for
savings
savings.
and investment, you know, your mind will not accommodate little black tax. This brother just came out, brother, I need data, this and that, I need this and that, and people are just,
Mm-hmm.
black taxing you and all
Mm-hmm.
of that. So you will be able to also put a structure to everything that you are doing. Yeah. So based on that question, one of the things that you want to do is to intentionally save, like I mentioned, and to make sure that you have a structure put in place about your finance. I mentioned intentional saving. I also mentioned intentional investment. Diversify your portfolio, go for stock, go for real estate investment and all of that. And most importantly, save for the future,
Mm-hmm.
especially for emergencies as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So we have one more question before we go. Thank you so far, Mr. Koyemi.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you for having me.
this last question says that someone asks you to borrow money you cannot afford to lose. What's your take on that?
Someone asks you to borrow
Yes,
money.
you want yes that you should borrow him money that
Ha.
yes.
Well, the person is only advising you based on.
No, like you should like the person said, asks you to borrow money you cannot afford to lose. Like you should borrow him. Get
Okay, now let's put it in practical. You are asking me,
so he bought like you should borrow me money that you cannot afford to lose. So will you give it will you give it as giveaway, borrow from someone else to help them, or politely decline that kind of thing?
I just would politely decline actually. See, the issue of borrowing in Nigeria, we know how it works.
You tell me what sorrow.
You see, or you go cry.
Mm,
Imagine borrowing somebody, money, in good conscience, and you have to start calling for you to recover your money. I'm telling you,
mm,
I don't know how these financial loan givers, I don't know how they recover their money, but It is well, but I'll just politely decline, and it's
Well,
not comfortable. It's not comfortable. All right. So that's just what I'll say about that.
okay, so your monthly income is 500K. How much should I daily go to? How much should go to savings?
Like I mentioned, 10 to 30% should go to savings.
10 to 30%.
Yeah.
Okay, so uh, some people they are even find it difficult to see
To
five
save
five
what?
percent, even 2%.
Just do the mathematics. 500K enters, remove your current expenses like feeding allowance for the month. Will 100K do for you? If you're a family man, from 100 to 150, is that okay for you as a family man? If you want to shoot it, you want to live large, maybe to 200. Now you have 300 left. Maybe uh, you are going to be doing your tithe as well. You remove that. Now your transport for the month, you remove at least maybe roughly 100,000 now. So
Mhm.
you've spent 350.
The remaining goes
So
to
for emergencies, you have left 70, 80 should go to savings. So, and that covers for 10 to 30%.
So we have really learned a lot of things today, and I think these really answer some of the questions you guys really threw. You dropped on the comment section last week. One of our user answered this question, or let me say viewer. So she said that is it advisable to like is a two-in-one person, like how many account like is advisable for you to have? Then is it advisable for you to have in Nigeria have a current account, savings account, also see have uh, dollar account?
I think the accounts are for different purposes. Take, for instance, current account is targeted in Nigeria, and I believe also in Africa, is targeted towards business owners.
Mhm.
Like current account, it gives you more volume to process, like as a business.
Mhm.
For savings, is targeted towards individuals like students, like what have you. Do you
Mhm.
understand? People in that level, we know their level of income and all of that. So it's targeted, the savings account is targeted to us. So there is always target for each
For
in.
opening
So
account.
for dollar accounts, we are talking about freelancers, who work from home and all of that, and people who have families abroad, and they are sending money for home for care, and all of that. That's why we have different accounts, not specifically because you just want to push different accounts to people.
So in a nutshell, he's trying to say that we have account for different purpose, and if you're in Nigeria, have Nigeria account, that's your local account. Still have what foreign account for you to be able to diversify your
Yes,
currency, just the way you
yes,
mentioned the
yes.
other time. So, and this is how we're going to wrap it up. So, a special thanks to Mrs. Sweet for being our camera woman. Special thanks to everybody behind the scene. Thank you so much for being the part of today's program. So, Mr. Okoyemi, we are really delighted to have you
Thank you
on
so
today's
much,
show.
Mr. Alex, for having me today.
So, I think when we call you next time, you're going to answer because you have always been answering us.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
I'll
and he
surely do
has
that.
never disappointed.
Thank you
So,
so much.
thank you so
Thank
much. My name is Alex, and I see you next time. We don't say bye bye, we say good.
you.
See you next time.
See you next time, guys. Bye. Pẹ̀lú mi kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀?